Imagine waking up when the world outside is frozen solid. There is no heater. There is no electricity. There is no insulated jacket. There is no supermarket. And winter could last for months. Yet humans survived. Not only in warm Africa. They pushed into brutally cold parts of Eurasia. Some lived beside glaciers. Others crossed frozen landscapes covered in snow. Temperatures could fall far below freezing. One mistake could become deadly. So how did they survive? The answer begins with something older than clothing: fire. Humans learned to control one of nature's most dangerous forces. Evidence from Gesher Benot Ya'aqov dates controlled fire around 790,000 years ago. A fire did much more than create light. It produced a bubble of survivable temperature. Hands could regain feeling. Wet materials could dry. Food could be heated. Predators could be kept farther away. And darkness became slightly less dangerous. But fire had a weakness. You could not wear it. Step away from the flames, and winter returned. Ancient humans needed another barrier. They found it on animals. Fur. A living animal already carried extraordinary insulation. Hunters could remove that insulating skin, then wrap it around themselves. At first, clothing may have been extremely simple. A hide could cover the shoulders. Another could wrap around the legs. Leather strips could hold everything together. But loose hides leave gaps. Cold air finds gaps. Wind makes those gaps dangerous. Eventually, humans learned something transformative. They began shaping clothing to fit the body. Sharp stone tools could cut hides. Bone awls could punch small holes. Sinew could work like strong thread. Pieces of hide could then be joined together. This created sleeves, leg coverings, hoods, and tighter-fitting garments. That changed everything. Because warmth is not produced by clothing. Your body produces the warmth. Clothing simply stops that warmth escaping quickly. Fur traps layers of still air. Still air conducts heat poorly. So the body stays warmer. But one hide was not always enough. Humans discovered the power of layers. An inner layer could stay close to skin. An outer fur layer could block cold air. More trapped air meant better insulation. Eventually, sewing technology became remarkably precise. Archaeologists have discovered ancient bone needles with tiny eyes. Some examples date back roughly 40,000 years. Needles became especially important in extremely cold regions. These were not crude survival tools. Some were beautifully shaped. They required patience, precision, and knowledge passed between generations. A needle could transform an animal hide, but clothing alone was still not enough. Imagine sleeping outside at -20 degrees. Even excellent clothing cannot solve everything. You need shelter. Caves offered natural protection. Rock blocked wind. Stone roofs stopped snow. Deep interiors held temperatures more steadily. But caves were not everywhere. So humans built shelters themselves. Wooden poles could form a frame. Animal hides could cover the structure. Grass and vegetation could add insulation. Snow itself could block wind. Some Ice Age sites suggest people heated shelters deliberately. Inside, a small fire changed the environment. Heat became concentrated instead of disappearing outdoors. Several people could gather together. And people themselves produce heat. One resting human releases roughly a small bulb's worth of heat. A group produces much more. Sleeping close together reduced heat loss. But survival depended on another invisible furnace: food. Cold environments demand energy. Your body constantly burns calories to maintain temperature. Shivering increases that demand even further. Ancient winter diets could therefore become extremely calorie-rich. Large animals provided meat, but fat was especially valuable. Fat contains more energy per gram than protein. Bone marrow was another concentrated resource. Humans cracked large bones to reach it. Even frozen landscapes still contained food. Reindeer moved across enormous distances. Horses traveled across open grasslands. Mammoths carried huge stores of meat and fat. Rivers and lakes could provide fish. Stored food could bridge difficult periods. Cold temperatures even helped preserve meat naturally. But hunting in winter created another problem. You had to leave shelter. That meant planning. People needed to understand animal movements. They needed to remember landscapes. They needed to predict weather. And they needed each other. This may have been the greatest survival technology of all. Cooperation. One person can freeze alone. A group can divide the problem. Some could collect fuel. Others could prepare hides. Others could find food. Someone could maintain the fire. Someone could care for children. Skills could be shared. Knowledge could survive even when individuals died. Think about what that means. Winter did not simply select stronger bodies. It rewarded better cultures, better tools, better planning, better communication, and perhaps stronger social bonds. Neanderthals also mastered cold environments. Evidence suggests they regularly used fire. Some stone tools even preserve traces consistent with firemaking. Their bodies were adapted differently from ours. They were generally stockier. Their limbs were relatively shorter. That body shape reduces exposed surface area. Less surface area can mean slower heat loss. Modern humans had another strategy. Winter forced humans to become better at being human.